Christian Ballard here at 92.1 WKR in Clinton. We'll send you to Rich Jets.
Pathetic! You are pathetic!
What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media. Coming at you, episode 4. I know maybe I should be past episode 4 by now, but I did take last week off. Monday, I missed it. I rescheduled, but we're here now on Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Get a sip of Celsius real quick. And really, I only came up with one topic. We got to talk a little bit about Colorado at some point on the show, right? And maybe they've come up a little bit before. But I really think it's prime time. You know, like it is. But at the same time, is it a time to die off for Colorado? I don't know. Is it just getting worse for Deon and the Colorado Buffaloes going forward? Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? And the reason I ask that question is because it is a new conference for them going into the Big 12 this year. Going into the Big 12. Now, we could look at their schedule. I know we've looked at it personally, like in our schedule previews and everything like that. We could talk about it. We could look at it, you know. And here's the thing. The non-conference schedule is very favorable outside of maybe that Nebraska game. But you have North Dakota State and Colorado State, which, by the way, sorry, again, it's early. Got my Celsius. It usually wakes me up. I don't know. But, oh, this is cool. 2025, they open with Georgia Tech. Anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Home and home, Colorado, Georgia Tech. That'll be great. That'll be great. But focus on 2024 for the Buffs. And you talk about what they could be this year. I think the goal should be to make a bowl game. Here's the thing, man. Deion Sanders was an amazing athlete. His football IQ is high up there. He's an amazing human being, man of God. You got to admire stuff like that. But football coach? Come on. Come on. That's crazy talk. You can't say he's an amazing coach. This year is going to be a defining year. You start out with Colorado in 2023. 4-8. Now, that's just his first year. That's fine. He won his first 3 games. He did beat TCU last year. I remember watching that game, like, on television. It was like Big Noon kickoff, 45-42. And I watched it, and I said, well, TCU's the national runner-up. They just lost everybody. Sonny Dykes, the head coach. Colorado wins that game. I said, "Whoa." I'm like, "Whoa. Holy cow." Turn the camera off. Let's just kind of sit back and relax today. So they beat TCU. Then they beat Nebraska. And I'm like, well, Nebraska's terrible. Then you have that Colorado State game. When you look at it, like Colorado's losses were not really too bad. Now, I think there's games that got away from them. You could say 7-5 USC last year. Um, Southern Cal wasn't, up to par like they should have been with Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. Stanford, double overtime. But then it did kind of get worse. UCLA, Oregon State, the games just got the margin of victory. Here's the thing. It always seemed to stay the same. One game that I thought was inexcusable, though, 56-14 against Washington State. 56-14. Pitiful, I thought. I mean, look back here. We'll pull it up. Look back at their schedule real quick. When you look back to 2023 Colorado, what are you going to think? Prime time, year one, Deon Sanders. What would you remember about the 2023 Colorado football team? I hope that we don't look at that team and say they flat out stink. They were garbage. They were terrible. I know record-wise, yes, I understand that. But you gotta remember how they started the season, and you have to remember the wins that they had. Arizona State might be in bad shape right now, but they have not always been that. And for Colorado standards, at least at this moment, I know it's not Colorado of the 90s, but I think opening the season at TCU, getting a 3-point victory, I gotta go back and watch highlights of that game. That was a thriller. That was really good. Nebraska, say whatever you want to. I think Matt Rule is doing okay, but to win by 22 points is pretty good. Double overtime against your rival, night game against Colorado State. That's pretty good. Then you start losing. It just kinda got out of hand once they got into the play of the now Big Ten teams, USC, Oregon, Stanford's in the ACC. They lost that in double overtime. Uh, Oregon State. Like, here's the thing. You look at these teams, it got out of hand. What would you remember about 2023 Colorado? What would you remember? They were terrible because they lost so many games. Look at their schedule and what they had to deal with. And then look at the scores. On paper, the record looks bad, but you got to look more in depth. Shadur Sanders, great quarterback. Travis Hunter, great defensive player. Right? They have so much talent. They really do. They really have a lot of talent. And I know I've been critical of Deion Sanders, but as I put this together last night and I looked into it, and we'll talk about getting ready for the Big 12, but it's like last year was last year. It was year 1. You would think for a guy like Deion Sanders and how he is, and you could say whatever you want to about how he dresses or, you wanna poke fun at, the fact that his kids are on the team or however you wanna put it. You can poke fun at whatever you want to, but he's a winner, at least at heart. He's a great man of God. He's got great character and attitude. He really does when you dive into it. I'm not saying he's gonna go win a championship at Colorado. I doubt that. But if you don't see improvement this next season, something's crazy. Something's off, right? It's Deion Sanders. Um, I wanna shout out in the comments our buddy Twisted Rooster, the Gamecock Grind. He says, let's see. I will remember they tried to kill Travis Hunter by playing him both ways. Ballard, you do realize Colorado State was awful last year. Nebraska hired a brand new coach. Colorado ain't no good. Yeah, no. I'm not trying to hype him up as good necessarily. Um, check his recruiting for 2024. Well, I got, as Uncle Lou would say, copious notes here. Um, you could here's there are a couple positives for Colorado right now. They have the number 1 transfer class in the Big 12, 42 incoming transfers, but they also have a lot of negatives. Um, and part of it's the scheduling. They do have more negatives than positives. I will admit the way they're using the portal is really, really good, and you have to use the portal today. Dabo Swinney, you have to. Deon knows what's up, but he's got to put it on the field, right? And like I said, and you see by the title, is it just getting worse for Deon and the Buffs going forward? Honestly, you sum it up, I would say so. I think here's the thing. I think it's getting tougher. That's what I mean by is it getting worse? It's getting tougher for Colorado. It's you know, it just is. The Big 12 is going to be a step up for the Colorado Buffs in 2024. And we're going to dive into their schedule. And I want to look at what they bring in transfer wise. Recruiting is not the best. I mean, they are building by the portal, which is not a bad thing, but it has to go both ways. It has to. And when you only build by one, like it's like the opposite of Dabo and Clemson. And again, I'm not here to beat them up because I know we want to talk about Colorado this morning. But think about Clemson for a second. They brought in 0 transfers this offseason when the portal closed. 0. Colorado brought in a lot. Crazy, man. Um, I got the portal pulled up, but I need to get to uh here they are. Colorado Buffaloes. Let's see what they got here. Because you look at their schedule. Yeah, and Rooster makes a good point here. He says the reason they're first in the portal is because he got 40 plus players, which is good. But if you look at player stats he brought in ain't very good. Yeah. you got to get the talented players. And again, I don't want to be one to criticize a player. I never want to be one to put a guy down. But sometimes you do have to call it like it is when it comes to uh talent. Like, look, some players are just better than others. Some players in college football are just better than others. There's a reason we have 3, 4, and 5 stars. Based on talent in high school, based on performance, the Elite 11, East West Shrine Game, stuff like that down the road. East West Shrine Game, isn't that before NFL actually? Anyway, Senior Bowl, stuff like that. Some players are just better than others. But yeah, and Rooster's making really good points this morning too. He now says, but it's Deon. Why can't Deon recruit? He shouldn't, or he should have players wanting to play for him, but it's not happening for some reason. Something is off. Yeah. I don't know if they looked at it his first year and looked at the record and thought, well, no, it can't happen. But I mean, it's still like it's Deion freaking Sanders. It's kind of like Nick freaking Saban. It's kind of like Kirby freaking Smart. Like Kirby was a beast at Georgia. Nick Saban was a heck of a head coach. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know how good of a player he was. I know he played defensive back. Um and he grew up playing Pop Warner with his dad. But I never really got into Nick Saban as a player. But Dion, it's Dion. It's the name. It's his image. It's his likeness. It's his NIL, basically, right? Think about it. It's who he is that attracts the kids. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Close this ad. Okay. Colorado Buffaloes 2024 transfer portal. We are talking this morning the Colorado Buffaloes in terms of what they've brought in. We want to talk about, if you want, the prime effect. And as you see by our title for the show, at least, I might clip this and upload part of this later on. Is it just getting worse for Deon and the Buffs going forward? And that's really what we want to dive into today, folks. It is what direction are they really heading in? Because they could turn it around this year. Never underestimate a team. But sometimes you got to play the reality card and look at it for what it is. You look back at April 30th and you see it here. A lot of guys either came in or went out. Bishop Thomas, Georgia State. Victory Johnson is a linebacker. He went to, what is this? Cal Poly. I don't even know where. I guess that's California school. They did bring in R.J. Johnson from Arkansas. They did bring in from Florida A&M John Chaney Jr., a linebacker. So they're bringing in some guys. They brought in Savion Riley is a safety from Miami. Omari and Cooper went to Florida State. I wish there's got to be a way. They brought in a guy from Auburn, um, or at least some of these guys are projected. But I know I'm, I got to look back into when the portal, because it should open back up soon, unless it's already open. I know last time I checked it had closed and everything like that, but like look at this long list. And the trend that I notice is for what they've lost, they make up for. But again, I think it's very important to ask, are these guys going to be good on the field? And this one right here, this hurt the most. Kermani McLean, who just got there, recruiting and everything. Kermani McLean, Colorado offers him, finds a way to get him, and now he's enrolled at Florida. Let's see. More players. Jacob Page is gone. Varish Dawson, gone. Uh, where is that? Is that Jacksonville State? Yeah, JSU. Just show up. Let me see. Trying to keep an eye on the comments too. We got our friend Rooster talking with us. But like you see a trend with this portal stuff for Colorado. A lot of guys came in, but a lot of guys came out too. Savion Washington, Syracuse. Um, let me see. Let me look this up. I didn't have this in my notes and I should have. So going back to April 16th, um, was when the portal had opened back up after the season ended. But I want to look into. I don't think it's open now. I don't because I haven't seen much transfer news lately. So I'm curious about where we stand with the portal. Colorado, because even Colorado, man. Let me just like you have the latest date being April 30th. April. Dude, we're in July. We're in July. I'm pretty sure it's gonna obviously it'll be open during the season, but I want to know how soon it's gonna open up for the portal. So if someone could help me out with that, because I didn't think to get that in my notes this morning. But like either way, I'll be curious when the portal's open this season, how many guys actually jump in from Colorado. And there's other teams we could talk about this morning about the portal. But Colorado, ever since Deon got there, let's just be honest. Before Deon got there, no one talked about Colorado since the 90s. That was it. That's the only time we talked about Colorado. This one is all Colorado based this morning. Because I got to know, is it getting worse for them going forward? And the big question is this. I ask it because of the Big 12. The Pac 12, let's say this. I guess you have to play hypothetical to figure this out. Let's assume the Pac 12 doesn't lose all its teams. Okay. That means you got the California schools in there. You got Stanford and Cal. You got USC, UCLA. You got Oregon, Washington in there, right? You keep everybody. Yes, you still got Oregon State and Washington this year, but like you keep everybody. Okay. There's no realignment in the Pac 12. We're playing hypothetical, but Colorado says we're gonna be the first to leave and we're going to the Big 12. How would you compare the conferences? Let's assume Texas and Oklahoma do go to the SEC, which they are. But you got teams out there like TCU. You got who else? You got Baylor, Oklahoma State, the new teams in Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, UCF. I just named you some pretty good historical programs. I just named you some good teams. Is it gonna get worse? Is it gonna downfall? Here's the scenario, though. Colorado has to do what every other college football team, like Georgia, like Alabama, um, despite the transfer portal, Clemson, uh, you gotta do what these big time programs are doing. You gotta adapt to the change. You have to. That goes without saying. That goes for everybody. They're gonna have to play some good teams. Now, again, looking at FBSschedules.com, I don't know what rankings these teams that this site uses for these teams, but I'm looking at their schedule. Kansas State 20, at Arizona 11, Utah 10, at Kansas 22, Oklahoma State 17. That I just named you 5 ranked teams. And again, I don't know if that's based on FPI, if that's the final rankings of last year. I don't know. But they have a number beside them. But I also think that means something because Kansas State going to be pretty good this year. Arizona going to be a really, really tough. I know Jed Fish went to Washington and all that. Utah is Utah. Kyle Whittingham. Kansas used to be a really bad team. They're kind of on the small, really small, but in the right direction uphill climb. At Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, he's a man. He's 40 or 50 at this point. I don't know. Uh, he's good. He's really, really good. You get them on rivalry weekend on Black Friday. So you get all these teams, and it's a tough schedule. And I think your toughest stretch for the Big 12 right here, it might be the last 3 games, in my opinion. First off, you come off your second bye week. Everyone gets 2 bye weeks because of November 30th and all that, Thanksgiving and how it falls. So you get your second bye week on November 2nd. You go to Texas Tech. Don't sleep on them. Utah, obviously, don't sleep on them. At Kansas, they're getting better. And Oklahoma State, gonna probably be good late in the year. That's a tough stretch. Can you win all 4 of those games? I doubt it. Best case scenario, you win 2 of them, maybe 3 if you're lucky. How is the season gonna play out? The way Colorado started last year, honestly pretty good. But then it just got tougher. It got more difficult. Because again, they started out 3-0. And Colorado State's not really a scrub team. You were able to win in double overtime, like I said. TCU, the national runner-up, but they kind of fell off. What'd they go, 5-7? But you won it on the road. I'll give you credit for that. And Nebraska is Nebraska. But for Colorado to get wins like that, for Colorado's sake, it's not bad. But then it got tough. You had to go to Eugene. You hosted the Trojans. I think I was live for that USC game actually. But here's the thing, you only won by 7 points or lost by 7 points. That's not bad. Arizona State, you were able to win. Arizona State was really bad. Uh, but to beat programs like that, Arizona State has had some success before, like, last year and, like, pre-2020 decade. We're in a new decade kind of right now. But, like, the 2010s, Arizona State was okay. Stanford, eh. UCLA, good. Chip Kelly, right? Oregon State, one of the better teams last year in the Pac-12. Arizona was really, really good. Washington State, usually really good. Utah, we talked about that. Like, it just got tougher. It got more difficult as the season went on for Colorado. And again, it begs the question, is it just getting worse for Deon and the Buffs going forward? I got to get some input. I know it's early, but we are going to drop the link. And if you feel led, I say get on here and let's talk it up. We can talk anything college football because I know there's only so much you can say about Colorado right now. But I wanted to have a show dedicated to the Buffs this morning because here's again my feelings on Colorado. My feelings on Colorado is this: I'm pulling for you. I think a lot of people are pulling for you, Deon, but a lot of people don't think you're fit for the job. And this is the year in year 2 where he turns it around and he proves them wrong, especially going into the Big 12. Like, come on. Year 2 is going to be a defining moment for Dion in this program. And I say, at minimum, just get 6 wins and make a bowl game. If you lose your bowl game, that's fine. I guess it depends on who you play. But don't be setting to the stars of we got to make the 12-team playoff, be one of the best 12 teams, and we got to win a title this year, and we got to do this, we got to do. That's a little bit ways down the road. I think what he's doing, like right now, is interesting. I mean, he's living by the portal, by the way. He's not too much living by recruiting standards. I guess he's trying to, but at the same time, it's not like I don't know. Because when you look in 20 what are we? We're in 2024, but we want to look at 2025 team rankings. When you look at the Big 12, TCU's at the top. Colorado is at the bottom, and they have 5 commits. They have 2 4-stars, which is good, 3 3-stars. They have a rating of like 84.92. And the gap between them and then who's at like in Cincinnati, there's a huge gap. Utah 5 commits? Is that right? Is it just not loading up or something? Is it really 5? Yes, 5. No quarterback. You have an interior offensive lineman. You have Alex Graham as a corner. Montrez Walker's a linebacker. Corbin Lazier is a tight end. So you got 2 offensive tackles, a tight end, a linebacker, and a corner. Where's your receivers? Where's a running back? Where's a quarterback? All of these guys too, 3 of them committed within 24 hours of April 26th and April 27th. And then back last month, you had guys commit in June. So you have a little bit of uh recent commits. And the states that he's going to get these players are interesting too. Think about where Colorado is over on the West Coast, right? Pac-12, West Coast. He's got 2 from Tennessee. He is going to Florida and Georgia, which is really good states. He's got a guy from IMG Academy, Alex Graham, as a corner. And then he's got a guy from Michigan, and Jay Gardenhire is an offensive tackle. That's pretty good. Like the players he's getting, yes. Don't underestimate these guys he's getting or bringing in, but I feel like his efforts are not showing enough. I think he's got to take more steps forward in the right direction. And this season, like I said, in 2024, gonna be a defining year for a lot of teams, but all eyes on Colorado in 2024. Can you win in the Big 12? Can you make a bowl game? Can you win some big time games? I think if they play their cards right and they do the job that they need to do, they should hit no more than 7 wins. And you're thinking expectations are really high there, Ballard. That's crazy that they get to 7 wins. I think it's crazy that they do too, but that's what they should shoot for. Because from 4-8 to 7-5, that's a big jump. But I'm sorry, man. In my book, 5-7 ain't gonna cut it. 4-8 again ain't gonna cut it. You definitely don't want to get 2 or 3 wins, which is what I had them going last year. They won 1 extra game than I predicted last year because and I was on. It was on the touchdown show back when it was like Touchdown Tuesdays with Mayhem, and I told Mayhem, I said, dude, they're gonna win like 2 or 3 games, and he said, what? You're crazy. They're gonna win at least 5. Well, they went with 4 wins, right? Defining games for them at Nebraska, at Colorado State. That's back-to-back road games, both night games. Gonna be good to watch. Uh, September 7th, I think Alabama plays UCF, or not UCF, USF. I'm going to that game. So, and it's a night game. So I'm probably gonna miss that Nebraska game, but I'll keep an eye on the scores. But they gotta win games like that in Colorado State. Probably wanna pick up wins along the way, like homecoming against Baylor. But then you get after your first bye week, it just gets really, really tough. Uh, Utah, you could forget it. Oklahoma State at the end of the year, probably wanna forget it. Kansas State, probably wanna forget it. Arizona, we'll see. New head coach. It's just it is so tough to find 6 wins for a bowl. It's tough to find that on their schedule. But at the same time, it don't say it's impossible. I mean, did anybody I say this, and I've said this all year, like the past 365 days plus, right? Ever since I saw TCU, and yeah, they lost by 60 points to Georgia. But did anyone expect them to make that run? I don't think so. They had a first year head coach in Sonny Dykes. I said this. I said after TCU made that run, utilized the portal, did recruiting, Max Duggan and everybody. After that happened, don't ever count a team out for what they could possibly do. Don't ever look at a team and say, these players, these coaches, they don't have what it takes. And I know what you're thinking. Well, sometimes they got to come down to reality, get out of the clouds. Make a good point. But if you had told me before what season? 2023? No, 2022, because Georgia went back to back. Remember, they won in 21 and 22. If you had told me, hey, Georgia's going to repeat as champions, I would have said, okay, probably so. Stetson Bennett comes back and all these other guys. But if you had told me, oh, by the way, TCU's going to be in the playoffs and they're going to beat Michigan and get to a national title, I would have said, what are you smoking? Put that bong down. I would have called you crazy, but it happened. And because of TCU, my viewpoint of college football and coaches and players have kind of changed because at any given point, right? It's like if they want it bad enough, they'll go get it. They'll go try to get that national championship trophy. I'm not saying Deon's gonna win a title. I don't think it's gonna happen, but at the same time, after that whole TCU thing in 2022, it just why would you count out a Power 5 team? Why? It's I don't know. Why would you count them out? They can't do it. Well, is that the same thing about TCU? TCU had a first-year head coach, and let me double check what they did before 2022. Let's go to 2021, what they did. 'Cause were they not like I don't even know. Um, it wasn't too good, was it? 5-7. And then 2022 so they didn't even make a bowl game, TCU 2021. They get a new head coach in Sonny Dykes, and he takes him to a national title game. He has the talent around him. Again, folks, I say that I am not picking Colorado for the national title or the 12-team playoff. But I'll definitely pick them. Like, shoot, they could go to a bowl. They're gonna go bowling somewhere. 12-team playoff predictions coming very soon. Preseason edition. I'm gonna have to make a graphic to just throw up on the screen and break it down. I gotta get notes for it. But again, when you look at their 5 ranked teams on their schedule, are they automatic losses? Number 20, Kansas State. And again, I don't know what FBS schedules use, like what they use for their ranking system. Maybe ESPN, maybe FPI. I don't know. But 20, Kansas State, at number 11, Arizona, number 10, Utah, at number 22, Kansas, at or home, number 17, Oklahoma State. Are they 5 automatic losses? And again, I ask, is 6 wins a must? And then going forward after that, I don't want to jump into schedules too far ahead, like 2025 or anything. We're not ready for that yet. But opponents aside, is it just going to get worse for them? I am excited about them opening up with Georgia Tech next year. That I think could be a pretty interesting game. That's in Boulder. Of course, all the you know Big 12 teams, Delaware and Wyoming in 2025 in September too. But anyway, uh, yeah, I don't know if I had to put money on it, and I won't put much. Right? I'm not that crazy. I won't put any because I'm not stupid, right? But my money is that Colorado improves going forward, and I don't think they downfall like people think they will in the Big 12. But we could laugh at this conversation in mid-September, early October if Colorado stinks it up a little bit this year. We'll see. Double check the comments. Again, shout out to Adam Woodard and the Gamecock Grind for showing up this morning. Really love and appreciate you guys for showing up. Let's see. Uh, what can we talk about now? Honestly, um, I really only plan to have like a Colorado show this morning, pretty much. I'm excited for them. I really am. Like Dion does know football. He does. Um, his IQ's through the charts. He played the game. He knows the game. He's adapted. If there's anybody out there that has adapted to NIL, portal, and I know he's just getting started, but even at where was he? Jackson State? Not Jacksonville State, but Jackson State. Even there he did okay, at least to my knowledge. Let me see. What was his record there? Let's see. Let's look this up. Because he was only there for like a year or two. Coaching career. He AAA Academy, he was the coach for 2 seasons, offensive coordinator for Trinity Christian High School. He coached his sons. So 4-3 record in 2020 at Jackson State. Um, then I don't know exactly. Well, let me go to this part here. Okay, so this is good. So 4-3 in 2020, that's COVID, put it aside. Lost 2 straight years in a bowl game at Jackson State, but he had 11-2 and 12-1 seasons in 21 and 22 respectively. 27-6 was his overall record. He's still over 500 right now, like way above 500. He only had 4-8 last year. He finished 12th in the Pac-12 last year. 1-8 in conference play. He's got to do better than 4-8. But nothing he does this year, unless he goes under that, like if he goes 2-10 or something, I well, even that, I mean, he's not gonna bring his overall record as a head coach down to below 500. I mean, he just has to keep losing to do that, but he's 31-14, which honestly is a pretty good record to have. I think a lot of coaches would kill to have that. They really would. They'd give their right arm to have a record like that. There's coaches out there, because there's some under 500 coaches out there, but of course they don't last too long. Colorado. I think a lot of people are pulling for him. I really do. I've seen on Twitter and stuff like there's Colorado haters, there's Deon haters for some reason. I don't get that. Like Colorado is that team that you poke fun at when it doesn't go their way because of the hype and expectation, and I know I've been guilty of that this morning, but you hope they're right, right? You're gonna laugh in their face if they're wrong, but if they're right, you're not gonna get upset over it, I don't think. That's my opinion. That's my 2 cents. So, again, I dropped the StreamYard link. Would love to get some people on the show for this next hour, next few minutes or so. If we could get this to at least an hour show, that'd be great. We're pretty close to that, about 10 and a half minutes. But uh, so, but again, Gamecock Grind with Twisted Rooster came in this morning. He made some really interesting comments this morning, which he made some really good points too. But a quick summary, my assessment is I think it's getting tougher for Deon and the Buffs going forward. I think it's getting tough, but as a program and everything, is it getting worse? Only time will tell. I think they're in good shape for right now, but we got to win on the field. We got to see how they do. New conference, new era of college football, 12-team playoff, everything like that. If anyone out there coaching has adapted to the change, it's a guy like Dion. He's just got to win on the football field. And again, in 2024, he's going to have some really tough challenges, especially going to teams like Nebraska, playing teams like Baylor, Kansas State, Arizona down the road. It's going to be tough, but I know he can do it. Let's see. Y'all want to y'all want to go on Twitter and see what's trending in the sports world? I guess we could. Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. We're done talking about Colorado for right now. We're done. Maybe some other time we'll revisit this conversation. I got a lot to clip from this one. I might just go through, rewatch it, clip the Colorado stuff, and I don't know what I would call it other than maybe something like "Welcome to the Big 12, Colorado." But I I don't know. That was good conversation I had. I thought I did okay, but let's see. Let me see what's trending on Twitter real quick, and we'll decide if we want to go through this. Uh, oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, here we go, guys. Ballard Sports Trends. All right, what kind of trouble can we get into today on Twitter with sports here? Let's see. Go ahead and pull this up here. The Rays. How about the Rays beating the Yankees? Yankees not doing. I guess they're doing better this year, but that's a good win for the Rays, who are kind of struggling a little bit. But let's see what else is trending here. Uh, oh, Penn State. I got to see this. Rory McIlroy, as the golfer. In Hard Knocks, trending with Saquon. You get Saquon Barkley there. Tennessee. Oh gosh, Tennessee and Cowboys. Oh boy. Kind of the the couple of football right now. Always their year, right? Uh, they're trending on Twitter. Gosh, 18.2 thousand posts about Tennessee. Holy cow! Listen, you got nothing better to do. I mean, for real. Let's see. Let's see what they're saying about Tennessee first. We'll come back to like Penn State and the Cowboys, I guess. But Tennessee Titans, Tennessee football. Oh, I didn't even think about the Titans. That might be what they're talking about. Rocky Top now, all-time greatest play in Tennessee baseball history. Hunter Ensley is back. Dang, that was a good slide. That was a good touch there. Look at this. Look at that. That counts. That counts for something. See if I can repost anything. Baseball. So it's all baseball, it looks like. The Vol Report. I follow that. Okay. Tennessee just landed 2 studs from Ole Miss in the transfer portal, Andrew Fisher and Liam Doyle. Holy cow. Good. Good for them. Uh, that's an ad. Andrew Fisher is committed to Tennessee. Give me some football action. This is all baseball. Jordan Moore, who is this? Co-host of Overtime on Fox Sports Knoxville. Okay, I'll follow you. Try to get connections and stuff, but what does he say here? Just as Josh Heupel has been a head coach at Tennessee for 3 full seasons. Yes. Has already produced more 1,000-yard receivers than Georgia has had in the history of their program. Is that true? Somebody quote like fact check that. That does look, Georgia's a better program than Tennessee is, clearly, but at the same time, I I mean, is that count? Look, what are you talking about? Squirrel White and guys from 2022? I mean, look, be honest. It was a good year last year for Tennessee. But they only had like 2022 with Josh Heupel. Holy cow! Can they do it again in 2024? I think probably, but I just more 1,000-yard receivers than Georgia has had in the history of their program. Did I not read something about another team a few weeks ago saying that? I feel like something about Georgia. I mean, comparing themselves to Georgia, I don't care who you are. Kirby Smart in Georgia is a whole nother level above everybody else in college football. Yes, even Alabama right now because Nick Saban's retired. That what does that have to do with what does this have to do with anything other than, you know, stat? Look, beat Georgia and then we'll talk. Yeah, they haven't done that since what, 2016? Holy cow, man. I mean, get a grip of reality. Come back down. I mean, this is a good this is a good tweet and this is something to be proud of, I guess, but what good let me just ask, you produce more 1,000-yard wide receivers than Georgia has had in the history of their program, right? Okay, so what? When's the last time you won a national title? Went back to back, signed the number 1 recruiting class or a top 5 class or whatever. I think Tennessee and their fans need to get their heads out of the clouds, come back down to reality, play the games on the field, try to beat Georgia, try to beat Alabama this year, try to beat Florida. I'm not saying that this is like false information or anything like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to do the research. I might later on, but not like on the show today. But come on, this like did this not compare Tennessee to Georgia here? I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I mean, I think it did. And maybe they have produced more 1,000-yard plus receivers. I mean, they were pretty explosive the last few years with Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker. They've been pretty explosive. And Josh Heupel's an offensive guy, really, really good. It was really good at Oklahoma when he played. But it's like, come on, let's move on from this one. Who is this? Dalton Gannett. Yeah. Travis Smith, 4-star receiver. That's on 3 in favor of Tennessee. Look at this. NIL value undisclosed. That's funny. Uh, let's see what else. We got any comments on that Tennessee thing? Anyone got any thoughts on that Tennessee tweet I just went on a rant about? Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't know what that is. So they So Travis Smith is from Georgia. He's a wide receiver, big time recruit, pro crystal balled and projected to Tennessee. So this is saying after they get their wide receiver, which point of the cycle will Vol Nation be in? Of course, everyone's making fun of them. I want to make it very clear how I feel about Tennessee. I know I'm an Alabama guy. I know I'm a fan of Alabama, but I am a journalist too. I try to be fair. I might point and laugh a little bit, and I apologize for that this morning, but like you gotta you like you gotta see it for what it is, right? Like Tennessee is a really good program right now, but comparing themselves to Georgia when they haven't won the East in God knows how long, that's that's insane and ridiculous, right? I think so. Comparing themselves to Georgia on X, almost said Twitter. It's a new era now. Anyway, Colorado and Tennessee, off-season champions, as Uncle Lou would put it, right? I think he said something about crowning an off-season champion for um for 2024. I don't know. What else do we have coming to the channel? Oh, DJ Pickett is going in a week. He will be committing to either Miami, UGA, Oregon, or LSU. Now, the poll is ended on YouTube, but those are his top 4 schools according to 247 Sports. For DJ Pickett is a 5-star wide receiver or corner. Um, and we got 1 vote for Miami. So someone said Miami, we'll see, but I think I'm gonna. It should be live on the 247 Sports channel. If not, I think what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on the website, and then when he announces his commitment, he will. We will definitely try to break the news, but I should be able to go live for that. I want to see what other recruits are scheduled to commit. Um, and again, he's for this class. Yeah, DJ Pickett. Well, let me see. Did this change? No, he's still scheduled at noon, for the 17th. Okay. Um, and he's a 5-star corner. He played a little bit of receiver too, but he's got offers from 42 schools. He's cool on my Crimson Tide, but he's warm on Oregon, Miami, Georgia, and LSU. Now, Oregon, is interesting because they're the first team it mentions for DJ Pickett. Someone voted that he would go to Miami on the poll, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know where he's going. That's interesting. Um, my bet's on Dan Lanning. That's my bet. That's my 2 cents. Anyway, who else is committing soon? Any other 5 stars? The thing is, what I want to do is I want to go live on YouTube for this stuff whenever 247 Sports has, like, they go live during the commitment announcements. Uh, but again, I don't know if DJ Pickett will go live on the 247 Sports channel. Here's a guy in CJ May is a 4-star. What is he? Edge, Auburn, Louisville, Syracuse, and Washington. Interesting mix. That's on July 13th. Anything today? Yeah. Well, no, not a commitment. I saw yesterday Max Redmond committed to Florida State. Is a safety from Cardinal Newman in Florida. He went to Mike Norvell. I watched that yesterday on my break at work. So check something here. College football flashbacks coming back this year too. I'm trying to think of how I want to do it. I definitely want to get like rivalry week going again when we get there. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that'll do it for this morning's show. Again, I want to try to get more stuff to talk about and figure out a scenario where we go for 2 hours without just having like a bunch of people on or something. I've covered everything I needed to. I know we got a crowd this morning. It says 5 are watching on YouTube right now, which I appreciate that. I love each and every one of you out there. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I think we're gonna get out of here. Good talk about Colorado. Definitely some stuff to clip uh, for the channel later on. We'll upload it, and we will definitely get more content very soon. I think I'll call it quits on like team previews. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. I was gonna try to get every Power 5 team, but that's a challenge, man. That's really hard. No, I doubt anybody can do it, but we'll look into it. Not sure yet what we want to talk about for Friday's show, but we will be back here at 6 a.m. on Friday, and then I got to be at work at like 4. So, but yeah, yeah, looking forward to it. Got a lake day with friends on Sunday, having people over to the lake. So I'm looking forward to it. It's be not the first time I've had friends over, but first time getting a pretty good crowd to hang out. Hopefully, we take the boat out and stuff. So we'll see. Anyway, I love each and every one of you out there. Thank you so much for all the love and support here at Ballard Sports Media. As always, let's keep it rolling here. I guess our next thing will be Friday. We will see you then. And I'll figure out what we can talk about for episode 5 of the BSM Wake Up Call. Today, is it getting worse for Deon and the Buffs going forward? Well, we'll see. I think we just got to wait and see how it plays out on the field. But good conversation. Thank you to the Gamecock Grind and Twisted Rooster for showing up in the comments, and also Adam Woodard. I love each and every one of you. Love you guys so much. Thank you for all the love and support. Jesus loves you. God bless. Keep your head up, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Ballard Sports Media. Check it out. Love you guys. Peace out.